train derailed Friday, 20 of them carrying hazardous materials, as flames lit up the sky in northeastern Ohio.
The evacuation order is in place for anyone within a mile radius of the crash site.
These aren't storm clouds. This is the fucking shit! The fucking shit they burn off in East Palestine! This is not fucking storm clouds! Look at it!
I hope it is. This is horrible!
I got arrested because I was trying to do a live report about what people need to know.
Officials are claiming that the air and water are safe. Residents say they can still smell chlorine. They've complained about their eyes watering when they go outside, and one woman says the noxious air killed her chickens.
Out of nowhere, he just started coughing really hard and just shut down and went very fast.
Look at all these fucking crows. I'm not kidding. This is within 10 miles of East Palestine.
Check that out. Norfolk Southern helped convince government officials to repeal the brake rules. Corporate lobbyists watered down hazmat safety regulations. Rail companies blocked the safety rules. Check that out.
If you have not evacuated, please leave the area.
How's it going, freedom fighters? Welcome back to another broadcast of Break the Chains Media. Today is Tyranny Response Tuesday, episode 1. And I know I've done plenty before in the past, but I wanted to start a catalog of the Tyranny Response Tuesdays, just so it'd be a little bit easier to throw back and, reference all the different episodes and broadcasts that I've done. But it's been a long time, guys. Thank you so much for checking back in on the channel. We've got a ton of stuff to go over today. We got talks about the Ohio train derailment and everything, all the chaos that was happening there. That video that you just watched was posted a few days ago. It already has almost 7 million views. Just a breakdown of total just insanity that's happening there with the chemical burn and the train derailment, and animals are dying and so much terrible things happening. So we're gonna get into all that. We're also gonna talk about briefly, because if you've been watching this channel and you kind of have a ear to the ground and a weather eye on the horizon, you know what's going on with these UFO shoot downs and these unidentified objects that the government's talking about. It's all a ruse. It's all a disguise. It's all a distraction to keep you occupied from the real threats that's going on, from the real things that are happening, like the Pfizer release that Project Veritas did, like the Nord Stream pipeline that was admitted to being taken down by Biden months, almost a year prior to it actually happening. That all was released. And then we have the Epstein-Maxwell client list that's being released as well. So we've got all these big bombshell news reports happening. Meanwhile, they're keeping your eyes to the sky and watch out for those UFOs. Watch out for the UFOs. They're coming. No, it's all a ruse. It's all a distraction. But if this is the first time checking out the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button. If you're watching me on YouTube, I also post videos on Rumble and BitChute, a little bit more interesting topics that we go over there, just because YouTube does its old YouTube thing. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I mean, right? But with that being said, appreciate y'all hanging out, and let's jump right into it, folks. I've got an article here from the Daily Mail, and it is Ohio residents hit by wave of sickness after train carrying toxic chemicals exploded and engulfed surrounding neighborhoods in black smoke. And we're going to talk about the health concerns and what's happening here. Health concerns for Ohio residents are growing after a train carrying toxic chemicals crashed and engulfed surrounding neighborhoods in black smoke. We saw the video, right? In East Palestine, residents told her youngest son's eyes turned red as a tomato and was coughing a lot. And another resident 10 miles from the derailment had her chickens all die days after the chemical fire started. And this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning on what's going to happen. I encourage anyone in that area, in Ohio and in surrounding areas, in that water basin area, please go get a health check. I am not a medical doctor. I do not give out medical advice, but I would encourage you to get a test of health right now, physical, the whole shebang, whole kit and caboodle. Get it documented, get it written down. That way you have a record of potential things to come down the line if that does happen. This is a ecological disaster, and we need to just, keep the Norfolk Southern Company in check there, as we saw in the video. They eased regulations and they eased the braking rules and all of the transporting of hazardous materials, all of that information. So, we just got to keep eyes on that, right? Going back to the article here. Ohio's chemical explosion mapped. Okay, so East Palestine here. This is the little plume that they were talking about here. Train derailment February 3rd. So it's been about almost 2 weeks, 11 days, right? Chemicals that were leaked. Vinyl chloride linked to liver damage. Phosgene causing breathing difficulties. Ethylene glycol monobutyl ether linked to kidney damage. Ethyl hexyl acrylate can cause dizziness and nausea. Isobutylene linked to headaches, fatigue, and can cause coma in a high dose. So this is all that's been burned off and released into the air, right? And 50 Norfolk Southern Railroad freight train cars carrying toxic vinyl chloride derailed in Columbia around 9 p.m. So when the evacuation was announced, government released a version of the above map which said anyone who remained in the red affected area was faced danger of death, and anyone who remained in the yellow impacted area was at high risk of severe injury, including skin burns and serious lung damage. That was the initial. That's what happened initially, right? Now it's in the skies. Now it's in the clouds. It's picked up by the wind currents, picked up in the water table. It could be a very wide range area of affected toxicity. So we just have to be careful. I would encourage anyone that's out there right now, pick up some water bottles, pick up some something from the store. Cases of water bottles are important. Cleaning utensils, hydrogen peroxide, rubbing alcohol. I don't know. Just these are the things that I stress about when I say to be prepared, because you never know what could happen in your area when it happens. You're already behind the ball. So, in that case, this makes you kind of open your eyes up for people in other areas to maybe start getting a little safety net facilitated in your own house, right? A little bit storing some water, storing some food, the basics, right? We kind of understand these things, but this here actually wasn't the first, hasn't been the first train derailment happening in a long stretch of train derailments. Now, I know that there was several others that happened, one in Houston and one in South Carolina. I did do research on those. Right now, currently, those do not seem as nearly as an issue as this one here. They are still cleaning it up, but it goes to show you, second article here, CSX train derails in South Carolina. Norfolk Southern faces more scrutiny over its derailments. So it goes to show you here that something went along with the safety protocol and the brake protocol and the hazmat procedures of these train cars and of these train companies. What is going on, and what was the leniency of their regulations, and how we need to do an further investigation into that, because obviously this isn't an isolated incident. There's other incidents of trains derailing, and I did post on my Instagram that trains do derail. What was it? Lauren Southern posted it. Looks like around 1,700 train derailments per year. So it's just being reported higher now because of the danger of the what we've seen in the reporting of the fire and the burning and the chemicals and the fish dying and plants, animals being affected, all these things in the water. So this is kind of why it's a bigger issue, right? But these are the questions that we need to ask, right? Whose chemical cargo is on each train? Who's conducting each train? Why are these particular trains crashing? Who gave the orders to burn the Ohio cargo? That's an important one. where's the EPA in all of this, outside of just saying it's okay, the air is okay to breathe, right? And are there ties to China or other foreign entities and the origination of all of this, right? Those are some really good questions. Now, if y'all remember back, for those of you older in my age, in the mid-30s, when 9/11 happened, right? Everyone said in New York City that the air was safe to breathe. And now we are seeing thousands and thousands of reports of cancer and illnesses and deaths caused by what was in the air on that terrible day, right? And Jon Stewart's done a lot of good work with the first responders as far as trying to fight for their health benefits and health protocols. So it's very important to understand that this right now happening with this in East Palestine, Ohio, is just another example of what could we see down the road. You know, what could we see down the road? I posted another couple videos about these other train derailments here. Yeah, if you want to find me on my Twitter, it's Break the Chains M, and I post all this kind of stuff all the time. So just showing you some other stuff here. Another train derailment, you know, all of these things happening. So it's on. I keep pretty regular on Twitter, semi-regular now that Elon's on it. It's a little bit spicier now, right? But yeah, here's a video of it actually going off. So if I understand it right, what happened was the train was derailed and there was a spill, there was a leakage, and there was no real effective way to clean up the spill. So their best method, as far as they are concerned, was to burn off the spill. That was the only way to clean it up. And I should have done a little bit more research on the whys and the hows and the whos of the actual call to burn it and why they decided to burn it. It is interesting to say the least, and I guess that was their protocol to do the to clean up the spill. But that is just outstanding, right? Incredible. But in other news, we do talk about the train derailment, talked about all that stuff. But you know, here's a nice little funny meme about the UFOs, right? The UFOs and what's really going on and how it's all being played on this global scale, on this gigantic scale. And I posted actually earlier, before all of it, this fantastic picture here. This is another Chinese spy balloon that's been in America for much longer. If you guys don't know, this is one of the first Chinese spy balloons that was found in America. So you know, I thought that was pretty funny. But you know, this is it, right? This is what's going on. All of the talk with the UFOs, all of this is a cover, is a distraction from the real issues at hand right now. You had, like I said, the Epstein Maxwell client list is to be released this week. It might have just been released today. We have to check into that. But on top of that, just before all of this spy balloon talk, they were discussing the Nord Stream 2 pipeline and how it was destroyed and what was causing who lit it up, right? Who blew it up? Everyone said it was China. Everyone says it was Russia, and everyone still says that it's Russia. But why would Russia blow up its own pipeline to Europe that would be its only bargaining chip in a regional conflict? Makes no sense at all. So, if you guys remember, if everyone has half a brain, a little bit more than Biden, you would know that about a year ago, I think February 2022, about a year ago, Biden said, we will find a way to stop Nord Stream 2. We will happen. And there was a reporter that questioned him on it, and he said, it will be done. I assure you that we will make it happen. And he basically admitted to it, folks. That's what happened. And you know, whether it was I highly doubt it was Biden's call, but it was, I guaranteed, a covert op by either the U.S. or the CIA or or other European countries in tandem with the Pentagon, FBI, all these people involved, I guarantee you, to incite further Ukrainian proxy war and potential higher threats, right? We don't know. This is my best assumption. This is just me reading the tea leaves, folks, okay? But that is a distraction. The UFOs are a distraction from that. The UFOs are a distraction from the Epstein client, Maxwell, the Epstein list, right? And on top of that, you also have to talk about what's happening in other aspects of the world with just the general scope of how people are under the impression that it's actually extraterrestrials or UFOs, okay? And aliens, outer space aliens, laser beams and green skin aliens, right? That's what they're trying to shift the narrative to. And you had the press secretary Pierre say that, we never said it was aliens. It's not little green men, but they continuing to use the lexicon word UFO, right? UFO. And when the public hears the word, the nomenclature UFO, that's what they immediately associate themselves to is the extraterrestrials, right? Well, this, in my humble opinion, is a Project Bluebeam psyop, or a phasing into some sort of otherworldly threat, right? Otherworldly threat. And folks, this here is a clip from one of my podcasts with Joe Bradley from SoldOut.tv talking about Project Bluebeam and the globalist final play. You can find this on Rumble, on BitChute, on YouTube. It's a great little clip, and I was talking about this a long time ago, folks. And I know a lot of people in the community, if you're kind of in the know, you kind of know about Project Bluebeam, right? But this is a breakdown of how they can project a false deity in the sky or a false UFO invasion, and they are using this to conjure up fear. It's all fear-based control, fear-based systems of control. So I think that with all these spy balloons and using the term UFO, it goes hand in hand with this kind of direction and what they're trying to push, instilling fear and instilling paranoia into the psyche of the population. Maybe it is China. Maybe it is Chinese spy balloons. China admitted to it, right? But we are still just the lay people. We don't know, right? I personally think it might be a combination of both. It might be a mix between the Pentagon unidentified craft and possibly Chinese craft, But this is a quick video on my Twitter page of just a little overview of what these balloons actually can do. Because obviously the first one was a balloon. We saw it, everyone, a lot of people saw it, but there's these other stranger crafts, these octagonal craft and the cylindrical crafts. Okay, they're trying to make it all mysterious because they all want us to keep guessing on what it could be. But at the end of the day, we know what's really going on. So let's check this out.
Underhead balloon systems are stratospheric platforms that can be rapidly deployed to areas of interest from a wide variety of locations. Utilizing Raven Aerostar's mission planning tools, a flight path is determined to optimize point-to-point navigation. Navigation is achieved by leveraging directional wind patterns in the stratosphere at altitude 65,000 feet and above. After arriving at an area of interest, Thunderhead balloon systems offer network persistence for up to months at a time. Filling a significant capability gap, Thunderhead balloon systems allow for rapid integration of diverse payloads and sensors, serving a wide range of missions.
So it can be used for intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, positional navigational, communications, reconstitute lost aerial asset, satellite alternative, augment existing network, research and development, right? So that's and these balloon technology has been around forever, right? Forever. And what's most important that it's small enough and light enough to not be able to be difficult to detect on modern radar systems and visuals, right? For military. Now, I personally think that this could be a vehicle, a vessel for another country, maybe China, maybe Russia, I don't know, but most likely China. But I personally believe that it could be used to deploy an EMP or some sort of grid failure or grid shutdown, right? Something to do with the grid, power grid failures, right? And it can, and we saw on that the first path of that balloon, it literally flew all the way across the continental United States. If it had a payload of an EMP, it could have easily detonated over central United States, and at that altitude, and if it was the right kind of EMP, it could have knocked out all of our power grid from coast to coast. And this ties right into what's going on with the train derailments. Now, I genuinely think that what happened in Ohio was a accident, and these other train derailments are all accidents. But anymore, ever since all of the shenanigans that took place in 2020 and beyond, nothing is out of the question anymore. And if it happens once, it's a coincidence. It's an accident. If it happens twice, it's a coincidence. If it happens 3 times, there's a pattern, right? There's more than meets the eye going on here. And I personally think that in the whole scheme of things, we are in for a very interesting 2023 in the United States, between infrastructure, between industry, between transportation. We are so vulnerable right now to see, and the East Palestine accident is a prime example of what kind of damage could be caused by an infrastructure industry accident or malfeasance or some. I mean, what was that? Less than a year ago, people were attacking power grid substations. And this is not out of the question, and it goes into the realm of eco-terrorism or eco-warriors trying to usurp and attack infrastructure and environmental means to cause havoc inside of a country. So I just want everyone to be wary, be educated, understand that what's happening right now, it's a lot to take in, but all in all, I believe that the UFOs, that can be that whole thing as a distraction. Don't spend too much attention on that, and start focusing on your region, your community around you. Start gathering things that you might need in case of another accident that happens, like in Ohio. Gather some water, gather some networking people that understand how to sustain yourself if things go bad in your area, in your region. So, that being said, folks, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button. I'm going to be posting out a lot more stuff. This was a little bit more newsy, and I enjoy doing the newsy stuff, but not all the time. I am going to be posting some more stuff. I got a lot of movement coming in with my garden. I've got seeds started. I got to do some tilling of the ground in the backyard, and we'll get all that stuff going for the garden episodes, and a lot of great stuff to keep in store in your mind. So with that, folks, being said, thank you very much. Appreciate you all coming in, and I love you. And as always, fight for freedom.